Welcome to the Redvee TV preview show, supported by A-Star Recruitment for the 2022 season, as we look ahead to this week's round 17 Super League clash between the Catalan Dragons and St Helens over in Perpignan. Kevin, I thought it was going to be like last Thursday, another no-show because of the train strikes.
Well, yeah, thankfully, no such issues. No such issues.
I tell you what, I caught some big ones with that one.
Oh, massive.
Leeds are a massive club.
It was easy, that, wasn't it?
Do you know what? Are you a big club if you bite at somebody saying you're not a big club, rather than just laughing and going, trophies?
Yeah, well, that's it. They've got, I just think that some of them show themselves up a little bit there. But...
And do you know what? It's still going a week later. Every time it dies off a little bit, I'll just chip in and just have a little whinge.
That's it. Because
a few of ours took it hook, line and sinker and started going down the cost of living route. Well, the benefits must be going far in St Helens, because there's only 270 Leeds fans came and did a 60-mile trip. But the 700 Saints fans spending every penny they have this weekend getting themselves over to Perpignan.
Yeah, at least. Should we say at least? At least. Just in case we get some pedantic people commenting on this as well, like we did on Facebook. I'm losing. I'm genuinely getting to the end of my tether with people just putting stupid stuff on Facebook. I genuinely am.
But what did you see my one? But what about the man doing a charity walk backwards in a cherry and white thong and a 1999 Freddie wig, who's been promised a free ticket by Bernard Gauch? 702 souls.
Yeah, it's no.
We don't just make things up. I think people need to realise now we don't just make numbers up. If we say numbers, we've got numbers.
Yeah, and we've got them from a good place, haven't we?
Absolutely. Kev, wait till the Leeds fans find out we're not going to France.
I know. We have a prior engagement, don't we?
We do. We are going to a wedding, me and you, Kev, aren't we?
We are. Yes, we are. So
who's wearing the dress, me or you?
You. Only because I've just bought some new trousers, so I'm not wasting them. Yeah, it might be the best we've looked, but also possibly the worst Redvee since I was drunk at Ellen Road, or the worst Redvee since you spilt that ale all over me when we were in Berlin that time.
That was a long time since I dropped beer on you. I think we've aged gracefully since.
I'm not sure. I still wouldn't trust you with a pint in your hand next to me.
Well, we will see on Saturday. We will be suited and booted, and hopefully, somehow, through the powers of technology, being joined by our roving reporter, Mr. Dave Howarth himself.
Yeah.
And let's hope we will be reporting on the Saints' victory. But Kev, first of all, we need the squads.
Yes. 2 changes.
Yep.
That pictured man there, James Bell, comes back in, as does Sione Matautia. So we might see Sione, Curtis Sirenen and James Bell, who've been in bother with the disciplinary, all take to the field at the same time this weekend. Hopefully so. I think Saints fans are looking forward to seeing them, and hopefully they kind of take into medicine and learning from mistakes that are made.
Is that almost as rare as getting 3 balls on the lottery?
Yeah, possibly. Getting that message saying that you've won a prize, and you're trying to put your resignation into work before you found out how much you've won.
Now, given we know how Christian Wolff likes to essentially line up now when he's choosing his best side, is it fair to say that Sione might come back in at centre? And then for me, if everybody travels and everybody is fit to play, the 4 to miss out would be Josh Sim, Ben Davies, Dan Hill, and possibly Dan Norman.
I think you're probably between Dan Norman and Jake Wingfield, possibly, for that last one. I agree, if everybody travels, if everybody's fit and well, yeah, I think you're pretty much right there. I think Sione will come in at centre. It's nothing against Ben Davies and what he's done. I just think when you've got someone of Sione's calibre, you probably just pitch him straight back in, especially for a game like Catalan away. Listen, he said when we went to a forum, didn't we, for Alex's testimonial, and he said he's disappointed that he keeps getting banned, and he's got to learn his lessons, and he's got to be clued up for that over in France, because we know that it can be a bit of a hostile atmosphere over there. We know that what they're going to bring, that they can play great rugby, but they've also got that little bit of dark arts. I say a little bit of dark arts about them. That they can mix it up and they can get in and amongst you, and especially if they've got a bit of a lead, they're not going to let that go. So you've got to keep your discipline, and you've got to keep 13 on the pitch at all times.
Indeed. We do say if everybody's fit and everybody travels. Alex did reveal in his testimonial that his partner is due to give birth sometime imminently.
Yeah.
So if he does travel, I hope Mike Rush has dug down the back of the couch and agreed to lay on a private plane chartered at a minute's notice should it be needed to get Alex home.
Yeah, definitely. Did he do something in was it Wakefield?
That was quick. Kyle Amor got withdrew at half time, wasn't he?
Yes, yeah. And literally just legged it down the tunnel, and that was it. He went back. So it's a little bit more of a schlep back to St. Helens from the south of France. But yeah, hopefully that's it. Hopefully it all happens after the game, if we're being really, really selfish.
That said, if it happens in the next week or so, before the Magic weekend, Big Al will play on home turf, Newcastle United, his team. And if he scores, I will be very disappointed if the Bebeto celebration with four of them lined up doesn't happen.
Yeah, and you can imagine that if Louis back for that as well, Louis will be leading something like that. Louis loves a celebration up at St James's Park.
Can I just point out, I've just realised that Bebeto celebration was 1994.
Yeah.
There's going to be a couple of generations who have no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah.
YouTube kids, Bebeto.
Yeah, that's it. Bebeto and Romario Brazil in 94. Great forwards. We digress.
Yeah. Let's not talk about Brazilian centre forwards, eh?
No. Thought he was worth 60 million, though.
It's worth about 75, apart from gross mismanagement. I tell you what, if Everton had any sense, they'd be pinching somebody like Mike Rush to go and sort the mess out in the background. Don't get any ideas, Everton.
No, that's fair enough.
Jake Wingfield, thought he went really well last week. For me, I think he's done enough this week to take that final bench spot. I think he deserves it. Christian Woolf talks about if you do well, you keep your place. And I thought he went well. And is it just a toss-up between whether you go with size on the bench or not? And if so, maybe Dan Norman gets the nod?
Yeah, possibly. It depends. Like, obviously, I'd imagine that if you're going to go for more of a second row loose forward option, you probably are going with James Bell off the bench. I think Curtis Siren has got a start. Obviously, Joe Batchelor and Morgan Knowles make up the rest of that second row. They've not done anything to get dropped up, as we always say, with a caveat of unless one of them's injured and not available. So yeah, it might just be having Louis out that you might go with a bigger body. You've got Iggy Parsi, who, in my opinion, has been our best prop this season. I think he's been immense when he's come on. So trying to get Dan Norman up in minutes, and it looks like over the past 2 weeks he's kind of built them minutes up. Listen, it's going to be a tough game over there. Hot weather. I mean, it's whether you go with the big body who might not be able to kind of go as long, or you go with the kind of young, little bit smaller in stature, but can still do a very similar job. I don't know. I almost think that you might be right with Wingfield, to be fair, getting the nod over Dan Norman. But I think we like Dan Norman in the case of he's almost Alex Walmsley-esque in size, and he knows where the try line is as well. He's got a 50% strike rate, hasn't he?
Whisper it quietly, but is he reaching the point now where even when Louis fit, he may start edging Louis out, and maybe in a transition period over the next 12 months, assuming Louis gets a new deal?
Yeah, assuming Louis gets a new deal, you can almost see some similarities with what's happened with Kyle Amo this season. That, listen, he may well end up being like falling down the pecking order. If he's still performing, then obviously Louis gets in, because he does give you that little bit of pace up front as well. And he is, listen, he's still performing, isn't he? He's still getting in a champion team. So I'm not writing him off at all, but there will have to be a transition. We say it all the time with your older players. We've gone through it in the past when we've had Paul Wellens and the likes, Adi Gardner and Tommy Makinson taking over from him. When it happens with James Roby, we've got obviously the transition of Joey Lussick coming in. So there'll be the plan there that when Louis does actually hang up his boots, or if he went back down to London for a year or played at a lower level, you are going to have that transition of bringing a Dan Norman through, and you can't just turn around and say, well, Louis retired now, we've not given him any minutes, by the way, your fourth choice prop. You can't do that. And I think Christian Wolff alludes to that quite a bit when he talks about how Dan Norman's coming on and how he's giving himself a chance every time he plays, because he's kind of come from a different background than coming through our scholarship or coming through a big team scholarship. He's gone and done kind of the rounds and been down to London and that. So he's kind of learning and getting more confident. And I think that's sometimes a thing when you get players coming in from other clubs who've been a little bit lower. So we'll even put Redvee.net sponsored Dan Hill in that. They might kind of think, well, I've joined this massive club, I've got to try and fit in here. Well, guess what? You've been signed by us. You fit in. That's it. You fit in. You've been chosen by us to play. Whether then you've got the potential and ability to go on, well, that's down to your performances and kind of how you go. But at that moment in time, you fit.
Yeah. Another try-scoring performance from Redvee.net, Dan Hill. In the reserve victory at Hull at the weekend as well. Nice in support before touching down. I think he was playing fullback. But yeah, and do you know what? I noticed from some of our young lads in the warm-up last week, they're putting on some bulk now as well.
Yeah,
you can see the strength and conditioning that's going on. And obviously a couple of them, Dan Hill included, they got to see what Super League is like when they took the field against Cass, and next time they come into the side, they're going to benefit from that.
Yeah, definitely. Listen, I know someone who's mates with one of our fringe first team players, and the kind of diet that they're given, as well as all the weights and things, it's ridiculous. You wonder how someone can eat that much and stay so in shape. I mean,
I don't care.
I'm obviously doing it without the exercise.
I'll give you tips later.
Yeah, thanks. But yeah, it's listen, that's what happens. It's a natural thing as well, isn't it? It's not just you keep eating and eating and eating and you're going to start putting size on correctly. It's just that the lads are growing up as well. They're still young lads. I mean, I remember when I was 19 and 20. That's half my life ago.
They're just a man, Kev.
They are. They're just men.
Just an innocent man, Kev.
Innocent men.
Nobody's going to get that one either.
They will. They will.
Oh, somebody commented on the videos last week asking why we don't wear merchandise, so we've invested.
Yeah. Is that your size?
8, 9 to 10.
Yes. I'm not lathering you in butter again to get it on. Not after last time.
Conned into going to Cass. Conned into a half-season ticket. Conned into a jersey. This club costing me money, Kev. But yes,
we all know you don't like parting with your money.
I think it's safe to say that Redvee Junior has the bug.
Yeah.
And he's coming to Magic.
Yeah. Excellent.
Road trip. Yes. Right, Catalans lineup, Kev. Talk us through it.
Arthur Morg, Tom Davies, Mike McMeekin, Jordan Deseria all missing out. Sammy Sonilangi, Dean Were and Josh Drinkwater are the 3 that I recognise back in. Unfortunately, I've not a clue who else has come back in. Have they spelt Benjamin Julian right on that? I always thought it was just 1 L. Listen, we say it all the time about Catalan. They're a good team. They've got good players. They've got clever players. I know they're going to lose the likes of Gil Dudson and Sam Cassiano to Warrington. But they've got, like, you turn around, they've got players who've been around for a while as well. Players who've got that experience. Sam Tompkins, Mickey McAloran, Mitchell Pearce, all been around for years, all know how to get them round a park. Listen, I'm playing over there. It's a tough shout this week.
Yeah. They're not in the greatest of form, though, are they, at this moment in time?
No, they're not. But I think we always say this about Saints, where when we play someone, it is like it's a big game, so players step up for it. So you don't want to go down the route of it's the cup final, because it isn't. But it is a game that they want to put a marker down. We're at the start of a massive month for Saints, where we're playing quite a few big games here, aren't we? We've got Huddersfield to come. We've got Wigan at Magic. We've got Catalan away. It's a big ask for us to get through with a lot of wins, and going over to Catalan, as I say, they'll raise the game against us. No danger about that.
Is it fair to say though, Kev, you beat Catalan this weekend and you're pretty much fairly certain of finishing above them? I think there'll be 11 games left to play, and Saints will be 8 points ahead of Catalan with a far superior points difference. So basically, if Saints win 6, it's pretty much done. 6 or 7, it's done and dusted. And that's assuming, and that would be assuming that Catalan were to win out 11 games on the bounce.
Yeah, you'd start thinking so, wouldn't you? You'd be more confident of it. You're right. The games start running out, and you'd like to hope that Saints aren't going to go on an absolute nosedive and start losing games left, right, and centre. We know that bad runs can happen in sports. We've both seen that.
You just get the feeling the next 3 games for us. If we win our next 3, Catalan, Wigan, Huddersfield, you pretty much a home semi-final. Top 2 is nailed on.
Yeah, you'd be extremely disappointed if you let that go. Then,
especially when your games following that are Wakefield, Salford, Castleford.
Yeah, well, Wakefield away, Salford away. I mean, Salford are no slouches at the minute. Wakefield, we always say it's a tough place to go, but they can always turn you over of a Sunday afternoon. Yeah, listen, if we win our next 3, and it's a big if, you'd be disappointed if we didn't get top 2, because we've taken points off teams. And then I think who we got left after that, Wigan away,
Hull away, Hull KR at home, Wakefield at home.
I'm just looking from the team. I'm just looking from the teams that are up there. There's only Wigan away. Then Hull KR, yeah, they're knocking about. And as you say, well, Wakefield away, Salford away, Castle at home, Hull away, Hull KR at home, Wigan away, Wakefield at home, Toulouse at home. You're not looking at teams who are vying for that top 4. You're looking at, or teams where you think, you know what, if they get on a good run, like as much as we've took the mick a little bit out of Leeds, if Leeds click under their new coach and kind of find the right formula just for winning games, and you think we've got to go over to Headingley on a bit of a rainy summer's night, it could go either way. I don't feel like we've got any games like that, and that's me not taking it for granted.
Yeah,
that we're going to win all of our home games and not lose too many away. You just think that if we win these next 3, then I'd be absolutely gutted if we didn't get top 2 if we win our next.
I think if we win the next 3, I'd be gutted if we don't finish top.
No, that's fair enough.
And that's with yourself allowing yourself to manage fixtures as well and rotate a little bit.
Well, that's it, because we start getting interesting towards the end of the year where we've got Wigan away. Whether that'll get moved as well, because it's the day before Burnley play at Wigan Athletic. It could only probably be moved to the Thursday because we've got Wakefield on the Monday. So then to
tell you what, Kev, if that does get moved to the Thursday night, I can't see us taking more than about 300.
No, definitely not.
Especially if we haven't got a day off the next day to recover.
Yeah, I'm off that week.
Predictions for Catalan? Saints by 14, Kev.
Yes, why not?
I'll go Saints by 10.
It's not a. The thing is, 14. I keep going with it. It's not a ridiculous guess. It's winning by 2 tries and a penalty, or you get a couple of tries and they miss a couple of kicks. That's all it is. It's not like, I think sometimes when you look at some scores and you go, "Oh, Saints will win this by like 18 or 20," you think, "Oh, it's going to be a one-sided." Not really.
Yeah. Right. Just give me one moment. So I think the next thing we need to talk about, Kev, is everyone's staying.
Yes, they are.
No one's leaving.
No, there's no need to.
Why would you leave this glorious, glorious town? I think James Bentley has proved that the grass is not greener. Re-signings this week, it seems to be every week. We're just churning them out. Ben Davies, Sam Royle, and Dan Norman.
Yeah, Davies 2 years. Yeah, Davies 2 years, Sam Royle 1, Dan Norman 1. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with the recruitment. I think Ben Davies has shown enough so far to warrant his 2-year deal. I think I almost feel like we're still unsure where he's going to play, but he gives us that kind of depth of playing centre. He can play a bit of 6 and he can play second row if we needed.
See, I like that 2 years, Kev, because obviously you're getting more game time next season, and obviously with Conrad signing for another 12 months, if Conrad goes, you potentially don't have to sign a centre if Davies has developed over the next 12 months, and he can go straight into that team. So that's a little bit of long-term planning.
Correct.
I feel it was a big year for Ben Davies. I think we talked about it maybe in the preview shows. I hope we did anyway, because I've not watched them again. But I think we would have said, somebody can correct us, that he was 22. He's done it at Salford. This is the year he had to show it at Saints if he wants to have a future there. And I think he's taken that opportunity, and he's probably, he's leapfrogged Josh Sim. And Josh Sim's probably found himself a little bit unlucky. But Ben Davies has come in and took them chances, and he's basically nailed that reserve centre spot for next year.
Oh yeah, I think you're right there. And that's it. Listen, we're saying obviously we think this weekend Sione's gonna fill in at centre, as you'd expect from an Aussie Test player, that he's going to come in above Ben Davies. But Ben Davies has done nothing really wrong when he's come in. I know he's played at half back, and he's literally just been an extra pair of hands and an extra bit of defending while we've managed our way through that. But in the absence of Sione and Mark Percival, he's a good option to have, isn't he? He's very solid. We saw him. The Castleford game for me was obviously he stood out in that, but it just showed his determination. And he could argue that, I know Sam Royle was captain that night, and we'll talk about Sam in a minute. You could argue that he was leading quite a bit that night. And I know he was playing halfback yet, but I mean, just with how he was acting around the field, his tackle that put, was it Gary, the winger, into touch, just stuff like that. He's an older head on the pitch, but he kind of just showed that he has got that something. There is something there with Ben Davies that, as you say, I'm happy with him signing on for another 2 years, because that's it. With Percy at the minute still struggling with that injury. I was surprised that he did, at that forum, hearing that he did it on Easter Monday. He played 4 times after that with that injury, and obviously it's just come to the point where it's a case of, you know what, there's no point. Yeah, manage it. We've got the players to fit into our system. There's no point pushing him through it. Get it sorted, and then you can come back in and be fit. So yeah, happy with the Ben Davies one.
Okay, Sam Royle, 12-month extension. Sam Royle, for me, again, like Davies this year, big year for him next year. He'll need to kick on and be getting more games.
Yeah, definitely. And I think he's possibly one you talk about where you see people putting size on. He's a leader. He's a proper leader. He's captained us all the way through the age groups, the reserves, and he's captained the first team as well. So they think something about him. They really like him. He's a clever lad as well. He's got a degree to fall back on, hasn't he? But he's...
Kev, is he somebody you potentially maybe look out at getting maybe a month out on loan just to get him 4 or 5 games on the bounce at this level?
Possibly. Yeah, possibly. I wouldn't be against that. A short-term loan deal, I wouldn't be against that at all. Just to get him that kind of time. If there's a team who needs him, either bottom end of Super League or...
Like a Warrington.
Yeah. Someone who's doing it tough at the minute because they're around the bottom. Or someone top end of the Championship, even like 3rd or 4th in the Championship and battling, I'd have no problems with him going out and getting that little bit of experience. Yeah, and kind of seeing how another team does it as well.
Yeah.
I'd have no problem with that.
And then last of all, Dan Norman. I feel he's now in the mix for the 4th prop spot. And potentially next year will kick on and become that our 4th prop. When he's playing now, he's having an influence on games, you have to say. And he's found himself on the score sheets as well. He just finds himself in a knack of being in the right place at the right time. But he's got the size, hasn't he? He's potentially another Alex Walmsley going forward. No pressure.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly, no pressure. But he's someone who attracts defenders just because of his size. And the more minutes he gets, the more we'll see from him. And the more we'll see, again, it's no pressure, the more we'll see if he has got it at the top level. There's all the signs there that he has. There's all the little bits. He just now needs to keep pushing on with the number of minutes he's getting and show that he can do it in a long stint, because it seems like we play our props for half an hour, then bring your reserve, your second line props on, then they come back on. It's all very well doing that stint in the middle. And I think he did a bit of a bigger stint last week against Leeds. But it's that kind of pushing and pushing and pushing to do more and more minutes. And seeing how his body reacts to that, how his fitness reacts to that. I've no doubts that he'll be kind of up there with the fitness, but there's a lot of difference between match sharpness and just being someone who can run and run and run. There's a massive difference between them.
It's almost like, Kev, we're just keeping everyone, and we've only got a few more to go.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. Only a few more. Is that what you've been working on?
And then we need to do Apple's one more thing right after everybody's celebrating.
Columbo's one more thing.
Apple.
That'd be brilliant, though, to be fair. We don't need to see that squad again. That'd be brilliant, to be honest. That one more thing.
let's say a little prayer that it happens.
Yeah.
I think I've just got a feeling he's going to stay on. I've got a feeling Wolf stays as well.
Yeah. You've got a feeling Grace stays as well, haven't you?
No one's leaving. You're not leaving, Kev.
I'm not yet.
You've sampled KR, you've sampled corporate, and you're still crawling back to the Redvee TV preview show.
Well, I mean, this is hardly corporate, but hey, corporate was good the other night as well. Pete Emmett was on the mic, good form. Yeah, enjoyed it. Nice to be invited up there by one of our mates, Andy, who works over at
friends,
Catalans.
corporate friends.
I've been friends with Andy a very long time.
Absolute
yeah, I've been with him.
Sellout.
I don't care. I had a lovely meal. It was absolutely fantastic. The potato fondant was superb. The cheese at half time, wonderful.
Well,
and I got stopped by a gent who didn't catch his name at half time, who turned around and said, "Are you on the telly tonight?" And I said, "I'm not, because I'm probably going to stay here and watch the man of the match thing." He was like, "Oh, where's your mate?" I said, "Oh no, I've left him in the West Stand. He's still up there."
Well, if there's any local businesses who want to be entertained by the Redvee duo, then we sell out for anything, don't we, Kev?
Yes. 100%.
Right. I think that's us done and dusted.
Yep.
After all that promotion, we give home bargains at the start of the year. Still haven't had me 29p can of pop.
Get back on to him.
Yeah. Right. I think that's us done, Kev.
Yep.
We'll see you suited and booted. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll catch you Saturday for the Redvee TV instant reaction. Catch you soon.